All right. In today's video, we're going to talk about how do you rebuild trust? Because we all know that when our marriage is in crisis, trust is one of the key things that she needs, right? We have to rebuild. She has to trust us. And really, it's trust us to do something. And we're going to talk about what that something is. But this is the 5 elements of rebuilding trust. If you can keep this in your mind at all times, you will have a much easier time rebuilding it, because we just look at it as like oh, I'm just going to do X, Y, and Z and now rebuild trust. It's actually a much more complex topic than that. So I want to break this down for you right now so that you can really understand what makes up truly rebuilding deep, meaningful trust back into the marriage. And it just so happened that it spelled out Chris, which I thought was cool, and it'll make it easier for you to remember. So, number 1, consistency. And you probably already knew this one, but you have to be reliable. You have to be consistent. A lot of the reasons why she doesn't believe you're going to change or your changes are real is because in the past you started changing, you started doing things that you're supposed to do, and then you dropped the ball. And then you went back to exactly how you were before. You weren't consistent. You weren't reliable. You weren't predictable that you would show up in that situation. And people don't feel safe with somebody who they believe is going to be here and here, 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 and won't continuously show up in the way that they say they will. So you have to be consistent. And that's why saving your marriage takes a while, right? It's because you have to show her you can be consistent over a long enough period of time. There's actually a shortcut to that, which maybe I'll talk about later. But in general, you need to show consistency. And you do that just by continuing with whatever changes you're making sure you keep doing those. You don't pack one too much too fast, because then you won't be able to keep up with it. You need to be gradual evolutions within yourself so they just become who you are, so that you won't waver in the future. Number 2, honor. And this is you doing what's right. You being aligned with doing the right thing, right? So not doing vindictive, sabotaging behavior, right? Not being passive aggressive, being in honor with yourself, tapping into that. Like, what does my highest self want to do in this situation? Like, think about the most honorable person you know in your life. How would he show up in this, right? What is the right thing to do in here, regardless of our situation, right? You have to be honorable, because people respect a man who's honorable. Even if it's an unpopular decision, they're doing the honorable thing. Next, results. Like I said, they have to trust you to do something, right? That's the rest of that sentence. I need to rebuild trust. Trust to do something. What is that something? It's generating results in whatever area. So if she doesn't trust you to financially provide, the result is you need to financially start providing, right? She doesn't trust you to be able to hold a safe space for her. You need to be able to hold a safe space. She doesn't trust you to not get reactive to situations. You need to stop getting reactive, right? She needs to be able to trust that you will produce the result that she needs. She needs to trust you to be able to do X, right? So you have to make sure you can do X, right? X marks the spot. She can trust you for that. Next, integrity, right? So integrity comes down to being whole within yourself, right? Similar to honor, but this is specifically you being a man of your word, you living your values. You know what your values are. You're staying aligned to it. You are acting in accordance with the man that you want to be, right? You are in integrity with yourself. You're not doing things that you know deep inside are wrong, right? You are in integrity with yourself. And I'll be honest with you, integrity and honor were just one. But then I realized I could spell Chris, and I separated it. You'll have to forgive me. They are very similar. But integrity is more about being a man of your word. Honor is more about doing the right thing, right? So there's the difference between the two. Lastly, you need to be strong, resilient, particularly emotional, right? Now, I'll give you a quick example. When you see somebody who's super frail and fragile, there's an inherent distrust of that person because you don't believe they can handle it if things get bad, right? If you see somebody big and bulky and strong, there's more trust in that person to be able to do things, right? This is one of the reasons why when we go to the gym, we start seeing some positive results, at least in ourselves, because we can start trusting ourselves again. We're actually trusting our bodies more. But she needs you to be strong, particularly in these situations, emotionally strong, right? You need to be unshakable. You need to be so grounded in yourself that no matter what she throws at you, it doesn't knock you off your game. This is one of the biggest things we have to help our clients with. We give them specific processes on how to become emotionally unshakable, because this is a really big one. It's where most guys struggle. They can do a lot of this stuff. Consistency can be a problem too. Integrity can be a problem. They can do most of these things. This is the one they tend to struggle with the most. So this is where you really have to do the work, because she's going to throw you curveballs to test your strength, right? She's going to see, can she rely on you? Are your changes true? Can she rely on this being the new predictable way that you are? And she's going to test you. She's going to test you hard. So you have to be strong, right? So if you want some help with all this, in our Marriage Recovery Center below, there are some tools, courses, guides, some of the processes that we use for our clients. They're all in there. Help yourself, completely free of you. It's all here to help support you get out of this crisis, right? And this is the process to rebuilding trust. Hopefully it makes sense. If you have questions, drop in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.